Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
And then, so let's shatter the next myth of the 2020 election, which is that the electronic voting machines were secure. You just said in your last answer that Venezuela can just straight up switch out electronically the votes. Please.
Yep. So beginning in January of 2020, the same time they warned about the vulnerabilities of the voter registration data, the intelligence community unanimously, albeit secretly, assessed that American voting machines could be compromised by 5 foreign powers. There were 5 foreign powers who could take the known vulnerabilities of the machines and potentially flip votes: China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and Venezuela. They knew what the vulnerabilities were at that point. Nobody acted in the Trump presidency, at the end of Trump 1, or at any time in the Biden presidency to close those vulnerabilities down. And that becomes even more alarming when you realize 9 months after the first warning in January 2020, in September 2020, the CIA detected Venezuela taking a voter machine that worked a lot like American machines. It wasn't an American machine, but it had a lot of the protocols that we use here, so it was relevant to the United States. And they were able, in a controlled environment, to swap out votes. Now, it wasn't in a real election. It was a test. It was in a test environment. But they were able to get through the encryption, take out the votes that were filed, put in fake ballots and fake numbers, and then send them up to the central repository as part of a test. That was a red alarm inside the intelligence community, but you know what? Other than reporting it internally, secretly, nothing changed. And so we went through the 2020 election, the 2022 election, and the 2024 election with those same vulnerabilities sitting there. We basically stuck a glass chin out and told a foreign power, come on and punch us, because we haven't told the states, we haven't told the president, we haven't told the Congress. Now, to date, I've not seen anything, Benny, that said that a foreign power exploited and flipped votes. I haven't found a document yet that says any votes have flipped in any election. But it is gross negligence for our intelligence community to have left that glass chin unfixed for 6 months. Just because a foreign power didn't do it didn't mean it was the right thing to do. We should have hardened our defenses. That's why we have an intelligence community. They left us with a glass chin for 6 years, and that is no longer in doubt. That is no longer a conspiracy theory. It's another one that came true.
John Solomon is a liar. John Solomon is him and his butt boy Bannon. You can like both of them. I don't care. You can say that they did well for J6. They've been around for a long time, part of America's, what is it, the America Voice or whatever, over there with Rob Sigg. You can kind of say whatever you want. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't. The elections were not stolen by flipping votes by foreign powers. The access to the machines wasn't from any foreign machine. It wasn't, beamed in like from China or Venezuela. They didn't have to. It wasn't vulnerabilities. We're not dealing with vulnerabilities in the system that someone on the outside. And what you're seeing right now is it's the finality to, we got to do something. We got to keep these systems in play. We'll just patch them. You can't patch it. You can't outvote the machines. You can't fix a system that was designed to defraud the American people. We just saw the Al Sayed up in Michigan, 50-50. Everything's 50-50. Everything's 50-50, as if people can't make decisions and people are 50-50 on the edge. It's not true. If you look at the reports that came out of Mason County, you look at the things that came out of Maricopa County, you look at the things that came out of Antrim County, you look at the report for ASOG, you look at the information that has largely been discovered in Georgia, You look at the information and the reports that came out of Pennsylvania. You can look at the Nevada reports. You can look at what happened in Colorado. Primaries, up the ballot, down the ballot. It's all a lie. It's all fraud. It's not, and you know that, and this is what I will say to this effect, because I get this question a lot. And the question is, well, then how did President Trump win? Two things can be true at the same time. One, you can have an election that's too big to rig. You can have people in positions that they just didn't want to risk it. They didn't want to risk there being uncovering things. So they're like, okay, let's do this. Let's take that chess piece off the table. He can only run another 4 years. Let him win. Now, if you look at every election since President Trump win, and if you look down ballot, you will see a consistent factor, and that is blue wave, blue wave, blue wave, blue wave. You have a seat in Pennsylvania, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that was red for over 45 years. Was the last time a Democrat sat in that office. And all of a sudden, after 4 years of Biden, President Trump getting into office, he's in office for less than a month and a half. That seat turns blue. You believe it? And by the way, it was 51%. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a controlled outcome for not just the United States, but for much of Europe, much of our countries. Now they're coming back now and they're saying, okay, the American people are, turns out, not that stupid. And the bots aren't working anymore because we've identified that there's tens of millions of those that are telling us that, oh, you're an election denier. And by the way, it's always denier. It's always denier. It's always climate denier. And then you're a vaccine denier. And then you're an election denier. And they use the same playbook they've used for the last 4 decades, 5 decades, 10 decades, generationally. Bully, intimidate, make sure that you actually shame people in a position where the only truth that is actually heard, only narrative that is actually heard, is the narrative that we want heard. And John Solomon is nothing but a shill. Not for the radical left, but for Team Evil. And you can say whatever you want. You can say, oh, he's a good guy. No. Good people don't talk out their ass and say things to try and move sentiment. Move public sentiment. You know, I wrote something, I put it on X, and I used Tucker Carlson as an example. Not because Tucker Carlson I agree with everything he says, because I don't agree with anything that everything everyone says. I agree with nothing that John Solomon says, because that guy's been more wrong. I mean, even a broken clock is right more than John Solomon is right. It's like Steve Bannon this morning railing against Elon Musk. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy, I mean, if you guys missed it, this is the guy that was best buddies with Jeffrey Epstein. I know who wasn't best buddies with Jeffrey Epstein. His name is Elon Musk. And little by little, I'm starting to figure out that high school is forever. Middle school is forever. I was talking to Laura Logan earlier today, and I said that to her. She goes, no, it's more like middle school. And I was like, you're right. Well, let's consider something. Let's walk through a path where we can actually consider what may or may not be true. But the arbiters of reality now are Dan Bongino, the guy that quit, went to go work for the FBI, couldn't make it, whined about the fact that his wife and him didn't have a lot of time together. I'm sorry, last 6 years, man, I had 900 flights. I was away from my wife probably 2/3 of the time. It was uncomfortable. Matter of fact, it sucked. And by the way, I didn't get paid to do it. I was doing the paying. I was spending money going all over the country to make sure that people understood how vulnerable and how compromised our election systems were. With a great understanding, reading through all the manuals, making sure that I understood the reports, making sure that the reports are real, looking at things like Matt Crane in Colorado and just how full of shit he is. The guy whose wife worked for Dominion Voting System for 18 years, who did not take his last name so that he could run off and be a part of the election system, and she could be over there, Wreck-It Ralph, working for Dominion Voting Systems, and we'll just meet in the middle, deciding for the American people, selecting for the American people who is going to be in a position of trust and authority at every level in government. And that led to judges being put in positions of power. That led to the ultimate corruption that we have now, the degradation of our society, the allowing of criminals to be on the street, the changing of genders, and the implementation of DEI and all the other things that we have to deal with. And they talk to us like we're stupid. I mean, everyone loves a little Steve Bannon, right? And nobody goes back and reads the text messages between him and Jeffrey Epstein. I did. I went through the Epstein files like quite a bit. I went through a lot of it. I was disgusted by the people that were in it. Some of them were just incidental. I mean, you're going to have people that take pictures with other people. You don't have enough information to skewer them alive. That's not the case with someone like Steve Bannon. And with John Solomon, man, please prove to me what I'm saying is wrong. But I put up this post, and I want to read this post. And it's a long one. And I didn't tell them that I would actually be talking about this. I'm just going to kind of put it out there so that you can tell me. But I don't even see it. I'm missing it. Where is it? Okay, something to consider. You guys want to put this up there? I don't agree with anyone 100%. Not even people I've called friends for the last 6 years. It's not a zero-sum game. Take Tucker Carlson. This is a man who spent decades deep inside the media machine. Then he had a shattering aha moment. The fog lifted, and he asked the most dangerous question a person inside the system can ask. If this is not true, what else isn't true? As he started saying out loud what some of us could already see, he found himself on the outside. The Cool Kids Club turned on him. Same people who once hung on his every word suddenly decided his curiosity was the real threat. He didn't lose his mind. He just stopped playing along. We've seen this movie before. Remember the radical left's dog whistles against Charlie Kirk. Hateful, racist, homophobe. None of it was true, but high school is forever. None of it was true. Repeat the labels, mix in bots and selective clips, and the narrative sticks. Consequences of that machine eventually got Charlie killed. Circumstances almost don't matter. The message was clear. Question nothing, accept what we say, or become a pariah. Now apply that same pattern to Epstein and the people who were genuinely close to him. Rhetoric, bots, and the Cool Kids Club saying no big deal. He's our guy. Fog rolled in. Apologetics for a child rapist became acceptable because he was, quote unquote, on our side. And you know who I'm talking about there. Tucker was not anti-Semitic. He pointed at humanity. You don't get to wipe out large numbers of people and simply declare it justified without scrutiny. He questioned a position, not a people. He questioned the fact that we were never allowed to question it at all. Politicians lined up to say, you have to support Israel. It's biblical. Meanwhile, many of us wrestled with the tension, the brutality of October 7th on one side and the reality of what followed on the other. And then we learned they stood down for 6.5 hours. Anyone who has been to Israel and understands the actual capabilities knows that explanation does not hold water. Tucker kept pressing. He kept asking the questions many can see, but few will say. And once again, high school is forever. You can't be on the side of the contrarian, no matter how true the observation. It's too dangerous to think for yourself. The ridicule is coming for you next. And yet two things can be true at the same time. We forgive and dismiss the unforgivable while swallowing the parroted narrative. Tucker did not change. The machine decided his curiosity was too dangerous. Talentless influencers suddenly become the new authorities. And Tucker be wrong? Yes. Candace? Yes. Me? Yes. Trump? Yes. Short of Jesus himself, we all fall short. Tucker is wrong when he says he hasn't seen election fraud evidence, mostly because he never seriously looked for it. It doesn't make everything else he said false. The day Laura Loomer or anyone like her becomes the final arbiter of reality, you've already lost. Loyalty is earned. Facts do not mind being questioned. Killing large numbers of people indiscriminately is still what it is, however inconvenient that fact may be. Iran is filled with good people held hostage by savages and liars, just like parts of our own country. Truth does not require a bully pulpit to defend it. Dog whistles are not needed to attack someone who simply refuses to stop asking questions. If the same high school social contagion has swallowed common sense and the right to think for yourself. So I only have one question. Am I therefore your enemy because I tell you the truth? It's something to consider. You know, I used to get mad. I would get on the show and I would get mad. And I can't figure out if I'm demoralized, defeated, or just resolute to the outcome. And I kind of feel better being resolute. I was talking a little bit of that yesterday with Casey. And we talked to him before I even got on the show about this specifically. But everywhere we look, we have a system that is so completely consumed by corruption, by greed, by rot, that there's never an outcome. It's a lawless society. And it makes it very easy for people to become nihilistic. Say to themselves, what's the point? In essence, what is the point? What is the point when a guy like John Solomon can get on Benny Johnson's show and there's no articulation of what's really happening? He just parrots things that he doesn't even know to be true. He doesn't offer up any evidence. He doesn't show any reports. He just points to superficial documents that he gets and says, oh yeah, well, they were talking about the fact that, yeah, there were vulnerabilities and here are the countries that were doing it. Again, the enemy becomes someone else. It doesn't become the very people inside of our government that are committing crimes. And remember, this is the same guy that walked around saying, justice is coming. Don't worry, justice is coming. Now the narrative is flipped and they've decided that those people get to stay in their positions, that the American people weren't important enough to give them some sort of relief. And the people that did have to spend time in jail, who were abused by people that were prison guards that were not even Americans, more like even the police officers that we have now across the country, are now allowed to dictate and press in to the American people. And more you see stories of how they are able to go out and arrest you for disorderly conduct because they didn't like your words. A new end around to the First Amendment. But you were disruptive. And I know you said something, but it was mean and they were offended by it. Therefore, that's disorderly conduct. And see, the problem is that if you have the $100,000 or $200,000 go all the way to the Supreme Court and fight for it, great, good for you. More often than not, it'll be backed up by a judge who sits on the bench that says, no, I get to tell you when you can speak. Now, they won't miss an opportunity during that time. The judge won't miss an opportunity to let you know who boss. Who's the boss? Slave. Won't miss an opportunity to fine you. Won't miss an opportunity to tell you that, you know what, I'm going to suspend you going to jail. But I'm going to blemish your record with something that should never be there, all because you decided to speak. And the same thing we're talking about now is the same thing that if you go back in history, happened in the UK. You were allowed to speak your mind. Go to the 70s, the 80s, and even most of the 90s. The UK was a very free place. It wasn't infiltrated by people, foreigners from other countries who had no regard for the ethos that they had created and had for generations, for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And they were pushed into a place and relegated as foreigners in their own nation while entitlements were handed out. And the entire makeup of who governs the country in the UK was changed. Now it's more of a mixture of Indians and Africans that run most of the positions of power and authority. And that's not because the people chose something different. It's because the people were never given the chance to choose. And when the CIA brags about stealing the sovereignty of nations, where do you think they started? Where do you think the experiment started? See, we have a very short memory. All the things that we seem to forget or to think about or to, we forget what happened during COVID. We forget the fact that they had this long before COVID. And we're just supposed to trust it. I want to put up this post because I want to tell you what my prediction is. And by the way, we have a few things we're going to go through, and then Michael Moore is going to give us an update on what's happening in Pennsylvania because he's got, a great update. And to talk to us more about kind of the things that are happening that the judiciary is not solving because it was designed to steal from the people in large scale. And what's happening in Pennsylvania is a microcosm of what's happening in nearly every state. But before we bring them on, I want to do this. Here's my prediction. I prediction due to the sheer retardation and betrayal of the Republican, aka uniparty team evil leadership, not the Democrats. You're going to see a blue wave, the same one that has been happening since 2020 and before. Only this year they're going to steal massive seats. Count on it. And the judiciary that is filled with worthless foreigners and leftist trash will stand in the way and declare their supremacy to finish the job. Let me explain for the retard influencers who are, quote unquote, on our side and yet in on it. Let me explain to you slowly. You cannot outvote the machines and mail-in ballots. All the elections are fraudulent, all of them. And what we're dealing with now is gaslighting on a scale that should anger all of you. They stole all of them, set the outcome and run the election to it, create complications, create errors, use stored procedures, use a system so corrupt and broken you could drive another planet through it. But hey, you have AI to tell you there's no evidence while walking past and ignoring the massive evidence that so many put on here every day. It's laughable at this point. The sheer amount of stupid and complicit is overwhelming. The lack of courage is equally astonishing. Sometimes the most terrifying and most obvious solution is the only solution. Stop listening to the bots. Stop listening to the bots and influencers who have never done anything other than lead you by the nose and refuse to even be curious about the election systems. They are in on it. And for those who repeat, well, how did Trump win then? They needed to take Trump out of the play. They needed to take chess pieces off the table. And he could only run 4 more years. Now they're in pole position to finish the job. Oh, wait. Did you see a viable candidate to come after him? Oh, yeah. No. Short of 47 going Wreck-It Ralph and going for a Julius Caesar moment, only hope for the people, and that appears to be relegated to a bunch of retarded high school influencers who stood on the necks of truth and protected people like Epstein. And have a good night. But God, I suppose. I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm not a black pill. I'm just at the point where I'm just going to give you the information. And I'm going to let you make a decision on what that means. Every time I turn around, the American people are suffering. Foreigners are not. They're not paying taxes. They found every loophole out there. They're picking up everything from Medicaid all the way down to free food stamps, and they're taking advantage of all of it. You got people from in Islamic people that have 6 wives, 5 of them don't show up that they're actually married, that have houses side by side, neck by neck, 30 kids. I mean, they're collecting huge amounts of proceeds, huge. And we sit back and we have to pay for it. And then they have jobs where they make money under the table and they do their thing. And all of a sudden, here we are footing the bill for yet another foreign group of people. And look, I'm all about helping people, give them a hand up. But that's not what this is. That's not what it was up with the Luring Center up in Minnesota. And that certainly isn't what we're dealing with now in every state. Texas, Nevada, Colorado, Michigan, Virginia, Maryland, you name it. Then they say, well, why would you not just want us to have these things? And yet the entire idea is to stomp out the American ideal. Stomp it out. And they use fake election systems in order to do it. And here's a post, by the way. I want to put this up there. This is Stephen Moore. This is the status. Put it up, please. Americans now pay more in taxes than they spent on food, clothing, and shelter combined. Think about that. Government has become so big and bloated that taxes cost more than a life's basic necessities. Every American taxpayer should be outraged. I want you to look at this for a minute. This is what we give to the government. We give it to the government, and they get to tell you, slave, what you can and cannot say, what you can and cannot do, what you can believe. They get to put influencers like Mr. John Solomon in front of you, like Steve Bannon in front of you, that say that Elon Musk should he should be denaturalized, he should lose his citizenship. By the way, we would have no President Trump without Elon Musk. Without Elon Musk, we don't have an election in 2024 that went the way that we went. Without Elon Musk, we don't have a lot of innovations. You have the entire media out there that are running their mouths saying that Elon Musk is stupid. He's not a smart man. Yeah, the guy put a rocket on a pad in the middle of the ocean. He's really stupid. He's not smart at all. Yet that's the narrative that they run with. While you basically families, American families, get stepped over to hand foreigners lots of different things, entitlements, and a sense of I get more, while stepping on the throats of Americans. And by the way, I don't care if you're black or you're white or you're green or you're purple. There are plenty of Americans that are generationally have been here that are from every race and religion. We just don't care. Plenty of Americans bled and died in order to stop racism, in order to stop slavery, in order to stop some of the things that, frankly, were the higher up said, we got to have this stuff. And we said, we find it morally reprehensible. We're not going to go down that path. But those sacrifices get thrown to the wind because now you have DEI and let's put retards as judges. Name a Buki Buki from born in India to rule over Americans, to step in the way of President Trump getting things across the finish line. And you don't have influencers that speak this way because they don't know how to. They're too busy asking questions to a guy like John Solomon who's telling you, there's 5 countries, and those 5 countries are the ones that actually affected the election. Run by a bunch of retards who don't even know how to use their own cell phone, but they want to tell you how people had intrusions into the system and you could fix it with a patch. They're not even real people. These are not real people. These are retarded people. Let's put this up if we could. Declassified records challenge, show white paper with tweet. We should pull up the white paper too after this. But declassified records challenge claim 2020 most secure in American history. FBI confirms infiltration of 633,000 vote files, including non-public information. Maricopa County breach investigated by FBI, according to an August 4th letter by FBI Director Kash Patel. The FBI continues voter records were illegally extracted from the site and identified as suspect, which admitted the crime. Illegally scraping 633,000 voter files that included 930 that were sensitive non-public data. They make it seem so small. The United States Attorney's Office for the District of Arizona, the Arizona Attorney General's Office, Maricopa County, Arizona Attorney's Office, and Pinal County, Arizona Attorney's Office were presented with the findings of this investigation. All declined to prosecute this matter. Context voter files can be used to identify theft, fraud, voter registration, as well as target individuals for blackmail. To date, Transparency Task Force has not identified evidence votes were changed. There you go. They're not going to say that votes were changed. So let me just be the bearer of bad news for all of you. Not only were votes changed, but there was a massive number of votes that were changed. Massive. Not 2, not 5, not 20, 30%, 40% that were either fraudulent, fake, or phantom ballots. Let me say it again for all the people in the back of the room. Fraudulent, fake, or just made up ballots. That, the ADA, you had the MVPs, you had the ability in the system to do those things. And they're now 6 years later having to tell us these things so that they can then come up with a narrative that, let's just tell everyone that we got it fixed. We have a patch. The patch fixed it. I want to show you this too. This is a map of the IP addresses of computers accessing Colorado voter rolls in 2020. And you can see that Chicago on the far right, big blue mark. Now, you know who was in Chicago in 2020? The same one that said, hey, don't worry about it. Trump's not going to win. I made sure of it. The same guy that literally was the director of strategy and security who lied in nearly every one of his depositions. His name is Eric Coomer. Over and over and over again. Now, they've said everything from Joe's a Russian agent to now I put listening devices on their cars now. I mean, you name it, they've done it. But you'll notice something about this. This was just the map of IP address that had accessed Colorado voter rolls in 2020. The amount of people that accessed Colorado voter rolls in 2020 is massive. This is during the election. So why? Because the Colorado elections are absolutely 100% fraudulent from end to end. There is nothing that is not fraudulent about the elections in Colorado. They are all fraudulent. Now, whether they bring them in via mail-in votes, whether they have low propensity voters, whether they have bloated voter rolls that lead to printing massive ballots and then assigning those to actual voters, we know that they have enough tools in the case that they can do whatever they want to manipulate the outcome of an election, including switching ballots, and they don't need a foreign power to do it. The rod is endless. Now let's bring it more close to home. Let's bring it into Mike Morris. So Mike, by the way, is the one that I brought in, has the bankruptcy case and is fighting the city of Honesdale in Pennsylvania. Now, I want you to know that we've been uncovering lots of things. We've had conversations with other people in Honesdale and by the way, they are the ones that caused the bankruptcy. They entered into an agreement. They didn't keep the agreement. They were found liable, $4.3 million settlement. Now, in this, you have all these people that work together. You got judges that work together with assessors, that work together with agents, that work together with the trustees, and they all do this thing in order to steal land, steal businesses, steal ideas, and wreck the lives of people around them with impunity. And they've been doing it for decades. So much so that having a conversation with someone inside of the machine said, I don't want anything to do with it. An attorney that used to represent them, I don't want anything to do with it. I had to step away from it. You have lots of people that are saying the same thing. What they do in Honesdale is not unlike what they do in any other city and any other part of the country. They make sure that they run you out of money and then they steal everything from you. And that's what they did to Mike Morris. So I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Michael Morris, and we're going to talk about this corruption. We're going to talk more about the fact that we live in a lawless society where they pick winners and losers, and it's all because you're a slave. We'll be right back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Oh, our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle. All right, with that said, we're not going to waste any more time. I want to bring Mike in. Mike, welcome to the show. I'm good.
Hey,
I was just going through my diatribe of all the things that are going on, and I'm like a walking encyclopedia of information. How are you doing?
Good. Steve says hi, but he's busy trying to plan for a winning season for the Cowboys. So it's taking up all his time.
It's going to take another 2 decades. I mean, he's not going to have much luck there. I mean, that's it's an exercise in futility, I think.
Yes, I mean, in this, it's more of a technical thing. So I'm more the technical guy than Steve is. So it just makes sense to just have me here.
Yeah. So, tell me what's going on. I mean, we've kind of gone through this roundabout. You have a $4.3 million verdict. They separated you from it because they wanted to create an opportunity for themselves. Honesdale wanted to basically say, we know we did something wrong, but we need you to basically cover it up for us. They were able to do that. And now you have a trustee that's finishing the job. Did I surmise everything pretty? Let's name names. Let's name names.
Yeah. I mean, I think as we go through this, we can also name all the names. I don't have a problem with that anymore. I mean, I was actually on the phone with the trustee, the attorney for the trustee, and I said to her, "This is an abomination of a case. It really is. I mean, there's nothing here that makes any sense." But what we were going to talk about today is about a piece of this case that allowed the bankruptcy court to maintain, I believe, in my opinion, illegally maintain control of our company, and Steve, and without any legal precedent, Steve and myself. And that was the Brian and Erica Duffy case that involved Nationwide Insurance, and how Nationwide Insurance colluded with the courts and the trustee to, in my opinion, to hold us there and give away $100,000 that had nothing to do with our company.
Now it's still going on right now. I think there's some consternation inside people. It's like a hot potato. Nobody really wants to hold on to it anymore because they're afraid of the outcome. It's still in the middle of litigation still, correct?
Correct. I think the biggest thing here is, Joe, and you'll hear it through this and what you and I have talked about off air, of things that need to be done with a mutual friend of ours that we've talked to. And once once that person's involved, the hot potato is going to become a nuclear weapon to these people, because
Right.
it is just bad, bad, bad. This is so far beyond any scope. I mean, as I said to Steve not too long ago and several other people, um, I believe at this point, the way this is going, I'm in a cutting room floor version of the worst Twilight Zone movie that it was ever created.
Yeah. So you've been fighting on this though for 14 years, 15 years,
16 years.
16 years. And in 16 years, you've refused to give up. So you're like their worst nightmare. Normally, a year and a half in, you've lost everything. You just lick your wounds and you move on, and it jades you. I mean, it's a jading experience. Now you've been in it for 16 years. You won't let go. You're like a dog with a bone. Do you think that the people on their side are looking at this as in, oh, we have to keep it going, because if we don't keep it going, well, some of us are going to go to prison.
I absolutely, but I also believe that they've never had in 100, 200 years of this county, this area, they've never had anybody fight them back. All right, they really haven't. You go through the court records, and up until Cash for Kids, where two judges, Cochran and Chivarella, were put in prison for what they were doing to children. They never had anybody fight back, and even with what happened with Cash for Kids, it took 7 years of complaining, the exact same things Steve and I have done for over a decade. All right. It took 7 years, 13 children who committed suicide. All right. Before anybody would even actually take a look at what was going on in those courtrooms. And in my personal opinion, all right, there's no difference with our case and what happened there. It's just a different courtroom.
All right, so where are we at though? I mean, give everyone kind of, because not everyone is here that understands how bad this case is. So give us the 40,000 foot view again, just kind of a quick overview. It's 16 years, but a quick overview, and then you actually went to court and you won.
Correct. Well, there was the nationwide piece that's here that we have today. This was kind of the start of what started this whole thing. All right. We were doing the project, and we
Right.
had a contractor, Brian Duffy Plumbing and Heating, and he was doing the contract with us at the project. And we got into a dispute. They sued us for saying weren't paying the bills, and that we said you didn't provide what the number of people for the contract. It was a back and forth. But during that time, they decided to publish articles in the newspaper, write DCED, and write the Honesdale Borough Council, which is what got this all started with, I believe, with Honesdale Borough Council, because he's a local, I'm an outsider. And, it became a slander and libel lawsuit. The insurance company that represented him was Nationwide Insurance.
What?
The company that represented him in the slander and libel was Nationwide Insurance.
Okay. Well, that's, typical if he has insurance and it covers for those things.
Right. Well,
Okay.
as this went forward, all right, we were fighting Honesdale. I mean, a lot of things are going on concurrently. All right. We're fighting Honesdale because they're now not releasing funds. All right. They didn't release the funds. One of
Well,
the letters.
and they said they couldn't afford it, right? They did say
Well,
that.
that's the ending of this. That I think we'll get to at the end of this month, another show that will deal with the ramifications of what this judge did and what Honesdale did that could basically affect the entire nation on taxes. All right. Because they set a legal precedent here about taxes. All right. Or payment in general, I should say. All right. A debt to the government or a debt to a person. And we're getting all that clarified with attorneys, and I want to get with the mutual attorney that we've talked to,
Yeah.
to really clarify it, get it down, full pat. But what happened with this case was there were Nationwide Insurance made a settlement of $100,000 for the slander and libel. The original lawsuit was just me and Steve, because our company, all right, was brand new. I mean, we were in the middle of constructing the data center in Honesdale, and we had no track. The company was brand new. There was no track record or anything. But Steve and I have over 30 years of executive level experience for some of the biggest companies on the planet. And they were slandering and libeling Steve and I as to our ability to, do the project, the thing. And when it came down to it, Nationwide said, all right, we're going to give you $100,000 to make it go away. Never went to court or anything like that. During the same time period, we had to file for bankruptcy on the corporation to try to protect the millions and millions of dollars of investment by ourselves, Verizon, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania through DCED, the Pennsylvania State Police. All these different people were involved in getting basically business class broadband to Wayne and Pike counties, which to this day does not exist.
Okay. So what's, there's a couple of things that you brought up that, I've read through all the documents. None of that stuff made it into the court record. Why?
Because the court doesn't allow any of it. And that's what
you can't make a record to the court?
No. Well, you're going to hear in the audio at the end of this exactly how the court has been treating Steve and myself.
Okay, let's get into that. Now, first of all, let's walk through a few things. One, this is a Duffy certified complaint. So tell us about this. That you guys sued Brian and Erica Duffy for personal slander and libel.
Okay?
Correct. Duffy was a contractor on the failed Honesdale project that cost Mike you about $9.8 million per year since 2014. Correct?
That's correct. That was proven in the damages trial, that the gross amount per year that would be generated was $9.8 million.
Okay.
Now, if you look right at the very top, you'll see Michael Morris, Stephen Smith individually and doing business as Smith Morris Holdings Incorporated. That is very important. The company is not involved. It is Michael Morris, Stephen Smith, and our capacities as part of Smith and Morris Holdings, because he went after Smith and Morris Holdings in his lawsuit against us because he wanted to get paid for what we didn't believe he should be paid for.
Okay. All right, let's go up on this, can we? Can we go up on this?
Now,
So you
what
sued them
happened
in
was
2013, and it's
Right.
still going on in 2025.
No. This was settled a long time ago, Joe.
Okay.
What happened was in 2015, we had to put the company in bankruptcy. As members of the company, we had to enlist any lawsuits we were involved in. At the point we went to bankruptcy is the exact same point that Nationwide Insurance agreed to pay us the $100,000. All right. But it has nothing to do with the company. I think if Patrick goes to the second thing, which is what happened was immediately the trustee switched it from Michael Morris and Stephen Smith to Smith Morris Holdings L versus Brian and Erica Duffy. Without him switching it to the company, the bankruptcy court has no authority over Steve and I. But Steve and I were not in bankruptcy. They switched the plaintiffs in the case.
Why? How could they do that in this case?
Because the top document is the document in the county courthouse where the civil lawsuit went on. The bottom document is what he presented to the court as what the case is. The federal bankruptcy court.
So he lied.
He lied.
He didn't present the top one at all.
No.
All right. Have you sued him? Are you going to sue him for?
You can't.
Why can't you?
Well, you can
they don't
now.
They don't have immunity.
Well, we can go into that later. Let's not get into those woods. I'll explain that. And I think the person we've been talking to, we can go over all that, how that can be done now. There is certain things you can and can't do within a bankruptcy court.
Okay, so this is then saying that they want to be able to take the money. You settled this suit for $100,000?
Correct.
Okay. So you settled it for $100,000, and then coming back, they want to use this and they want to claw back into this $100,000 too.
Which they have no authority to do so. But here's the other big thing here.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Like the courts are just, it's kabuki theater.
It is kabuki theater. It is whatever they make up. The judge goes, and you'll hear as we go, the judge basically tells us, move on, don't talk about it. All right. But here's the whole thing. Steve and I were going to take this $100,000. We only owed $21,000 in bankruptcy. We were going to take $21,000 of that $100,000, and we were going to pay off the debt in bankruptcy and close it. If we did that, they would have no authority over the Honesdale case. They also had authority over the Honesdale case. But here's the other piece. If you remember from the last show, we showed docket number 104 from the bankruptcy case.
No, I don't remember it, but I mean, I think do we have that document?
No, I don't know. I don't know if he can pull it up, but
yeah. So see, the problem is that people are trying to follow this, so we got to make it so that it's easy.
Well, that's why I'll explain it real quick. In docket 104, our prior attorney, Roger Mates, when this was going on, stated to the court that the only reason they're doing what they're doing, and they won't let us out of bankruptcy, is so they can maintain control of this lawsuit and the Honesdale lawsuit.
Okay. All right. So
that's why they switched the names. Without the name switch,
well, I mean,
they have no authority.
So they don't have authority anyway. All you have to do is say that's actually nonsense. We weren't in bankruptcy.
We did
And then what did they
100
say?
times on the docket.
And you showed them this up here on the top.
Yes.
And the judge decided to say what? Wreck-It Ralph, we can just do whatever we want.
Exactly.
So why did you guys not lose your stuff?
We did.
Got it. Okay.
It doesn't matter, Joe. I understand because you're.
I get it. I get everything you're saying, right?
I mean, it's the same thing they're doing with the voting. All right. Don't believe what your eyes see. Believe what we tell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Right.
the whole idea is that they get away with stuff because they become the moral authority. They get to be the ones to change the outcome specifically.
Well, in this particular case, they have the authority to take money that doesn't belong to them.
All right.
And I think as we go through this whole thing, you're going to see that they know they're 100 that trustee Mark Conway, who is now Judge Mark Conway, way overstepped his bounds. All right. And they know he did by their actions they're conducting now. All right. Because the creditors in a bankruptcy case, the creditors are priority to the bankruptcy.
Right.
They are the apex animal in a bankruptcy. The creditors themselves, in writing, have demanded Judge Van Eck 4 times to open an investigation into this, and he has either sidestepped it or not even addressed it.
Okay. So now I want to put this up so we can actually see it real quick. I think this is getting too much in the weeds for people, but I want them to see this. So you sent a letter to Nationwide.
Let's keep it on the.
So you sent a letter to Nationwide. Then you have an order to investigate. So an FBI agent, Sean Quinn, contacted you. When was that? When did the FBI contact you?
I think is that 2018 on the email. I can't see it in front of me.
Can you put up 5, please? B5.
Right. There's the order from Judge Thomas. Judge Thomas, when we presented all this to him, asked the appropriate agencies to investigate. I was contacted by FBI agent Sean Quinn. All right. Quinn. All right. He contacted me and then sent me an email. There it is. I'm not sure. I can't read the date, but on the top.
So it's 2018, April 16, 2018. Mr. Morris, your allegation has been comprehensively reviewed. Your case is a civil matter for the bankruptcy court and does not amount to predication predication for a federal crime. The FBI will not be opening a case in this matter. Okay.
Okay. So go below is the email I sent him.
Okay. That's the one before that, right?
Right.
I have enclosed a complaint where the documentation supported the fact that we did not agree to the settlement with Mr. Conway, but were forced to sign the agreement, turning eventually turning all of the $100,000 for the criminals involved in this matter. We do not get one penny, and the agreements are void with Nationwide. This is my hope that you can see the vast plan that they use to do this, not only to us, but it would seem to many investigate what happened. Michael Morris. Okay.
Right. So I sent him.
9 minutes later, he looked at it. He comprehensively looked at it. So what did you send to him?
I sent him no less than 500 sheets of factual court documents and the agreements with Nationwide, everything else. And in 9 minutes, he made a determination. All right. I mean, they had 2 years and they still couldn't figure out Epstein was a pedophile. So, I mean, come on. 9 minutes you couldn't read through a tenth of what I sent him in documentation. And and Patrick will tell you, and Lynn will tell you, I'm a nut job when it comes to documentation and how much I'll send you.
Okay, listen, you 9 minutes later. So this was sent at 7:23 a.m. Let's go up, please. We go up. And within 9:39, so in it wasn't 9 minutes. It was 6 minutes. Right?
I guess.
Within 6 minutes, they sent you an email saying your allegation has been comprehensively reviewed. Your case is a civil matter for the bankruptcy court. It does not amount to predication for a federal crime. The FBI now opening a case in this matter. That was 6 minutes later.
Right. You couldn't speed read the first quarter of what I sent you in 6 minutes.
This is unbelievable.
You couldn't glance over it.
Okay, so this is,
and I mean, I had hardcore documentation.
And this is what I want everybody to understand. This is what I say to you when I say that the system picks winners and losers, and they get to take from you whatever they want. They just make up the rules. The rules are whatever they want the rules to be. But here's also, you have a regional inquiry. It's a letter to the United States trustee Vara. Right, let's go put that up.
Right.
So you tried everything. You went everywhere. Put up, yeah, there we go. And this says, I write in response to electronic correspondence you sent to our office on May 1st, 2026. This is May 20th. This is 19 days later.
Yeah. So let me give you the update before this letter.
Yeah.
I made a phone call to the Washington, D.C. office of the U.S. Trustees Program. Okay.
Yeah.
I was very nasty.
Okay.
And I said, I'm done letting people steal hundreds, millions from me. But they're not, you know what, Joe? They're not stealing it from me. They're stealing it from my children. I'm 68 years old. All right. I don't have much time left. You're stealing it from my children, just like Cochran and Chivarella stole from those children. All right. And they wrote back, which I think there's an email, if Patrick could get the email. The U.S. trustee, which you've said we need to talk to, he was told to investigate my complaint on that phone call.
Yeah.
All right. This is their response. And in the phone call, I asked them, how do you get to switch plaintiffs on lawsuits to take $100,000?
You don't. There's no nexus. There's no nexus. You're not allowed to do that. But see, they get to steal. Yeah, you get to steal it. Okay, so this is, then there's a letter. This is the email from Joseph Schalk.
Schalk, I think it is.
Yeah, put that up, please. And this is on June 23rd of 2026. This is just roughly a month and a half ago. Thank you for your email regarding outlining your concerns with this case. Initially, I wanted to remind you that the role of the United States Trustee Program is to promote the integrity and efficiency of the bankruptcy system to the benefit of the stakeholders. The benefit of all stakeholders, excuse me. The USTP appoints and provides oversight for private trustees and administer bankruptcy estates under Chapter 7, 11, 12, and 13. Chapter 7 trustees collect assets the debtor that are not exempt under the bankruptcy code, liquidates the assets and distributes the proceeds to creditors, which would direct you to the handbook of Chapter 7 trustees, which addresses financial policies, procedures, and reports requirements for trustees and the public, available to review on the USTP's website. For the request to support reconversion, the decision to convert a Chapter 7, the case back to a Chapter 11 case, is vested solely with the court, not the Office of the United States Trustees. If the debtor wished to reconvert the case, counsel for the debtor would need to seek same via motion. Please note, counsel for the debtor must file the same as in artificially entities such as Smith and Morris Holdings may not proceed pro se in Chapter 11. Please be guided accordingly.
All right. Yeah. Now let me give you the context of what's going on there.
Yeah.
We made the complaint. He's addressing the complaint. But the key word he uses in there is oversight. He is the person in charge of oversight of these people. The documentation that you just showed on your show here, where the two plaintiffs are totally different. All right. They may have, that's like you and Patrick work for whatever your company name is, but you and Patrick are not the company. It is a separate entity. He even points out that it's a separate entity. So our question to him was, there were two questions that were in the email. One, is it legal for them to switch the plaintiffs? And two, would the U.S. trustees support us going from a 7 back to an 11? All right. And he
Right.
gave us the advice on that. And that's what that email contains. Now, here's the key about the oversight and that letter that you showed from Vara before that.
Yeah.
All they did was read down the case. They never addressed the question raised. They pulled a Fauci. They went with a Fauci. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hopefully you rewrote another letter, basically re-explaining that and asking him to reaffirm those questions, correct?
Oh, that came up in the hearing.
Okay. So here's an audio. I want to play this. This is an audio of an interview. I want to play it straight through. And here are the key points. Mike questions the trustees about money due to Mike and Steve. Trustee just accepted Honesdale word they cannot pay a full payment. And number two, Steve asked the court if it was normal to switch plaintiffs on a complaint. Court shut down any discussion where the money came from. And this is and this is interesting because the court didn't have authority to do any of this, which leads me back to even like the case that I'm in with Coomer, where they've just made it up as they've gone along. They've literally just created a fallacy of the court. The court doesn't even exist. There is no system because they just make up the system as they go along, and they can just do whatever they want whenever they want. Go ahead and play the audio.
Yes, Your Honor. Hi, Michael Morris here, sir. You stated that there is $7,500 left in the estate.
No, I said there's $7,500 in the estate.
In the estate, all right. What was the original figure?
Objection, Your Honor. This goes beyond the scope.
It does. Sustained.
Okay. The timely claims, do you have a figure on what the timely claims add up to?
Objection.
Not
Objection,
offhand.
Your Honor. I can provide him with that from.
Well,
it's on the docket, but he doesn't probably have.
If the trustee knows, he can answer. It's a legitimate question. Overruled. Go ahead.
Offhand, no. When I went to look at it last night, my software wouldn't provide it to me.
Okay. You testified that that's what Honesdale told you about their ability to pay. Has the trustee done any research or demanded any proof of that statement?
Other than what they've said?
Yes.
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor. Hi, sir. You were talking about bankruptcy standards earlier, and I was just curious, is it standard or normal course of action for a trustee to change the name of plaintiffs on a lawsuit
I have no
for
idea.
their own benefit? No?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, Mark Conway had changed the names on the suit.
Sustained. Move on. This gentleman is not Mark Conway. Move on.
Well, I was just asking him the standards of the bankruptcy court. Would that be acceptable to change the names on a lawsuit?
The objection, he's answered that question. Move on.
He did answer? I'm sorry, I didn't hear him.
He answered. Move on.
Okay, no, that's it. I was just curious about the standards of the bankruptcy court. That's all.
Okay, so let me give you my thoughts on this. Right, number one, there's a huge amount of disrespect for both you and Steve by the court, and the disrespect is basically you're a slave. Move on. You can't ask objection for form. It's all procedural because you don't matter. You're a slave. They could take from you whatever they want, and this is why I get to the fact that the American people have had enough, and we know who the enemy is. And the enemy is the people inside of the system that have taken the system, done whatever they want with it, and treated the American people as if they own them.
Oh, it's even worse than that, Joe. If you hear what I've said about
you didn't press it far enough. I would have been like, Judge, I don't really care what you have to say right now. Then add it up. Why don't you give me the numbers and I'll add it up here for you? Why don't you give me all the numbers and let me add it up for you?
I was just about to say, you heard me say, you testified that there was $7,500 left
Yeah.
in the account.
Yeah.
They got either $50,000 to $100,000 from Nationwide. We
Yes.
don't know. They won't tell us. All right. He said there's 75. No, I said there's $7,500 in the account. Well, then I asked, well, where did that come from? I was going to get there. Where did that come from? And they would not answer it because they know it started at either $50,000 to $100,000 that was put into that account. Now, either the trustee got 50 and Nationwide withheld 50 illegally after making an agreement with us, all right, for years, as far as I know. I've never signed a check that released them. Steve never signed a check that released them. And Mark Conway, if you remember back to our original broadcast with you, Mark Conway had two federal agents take me into a room, no notice, that I had threatened the trustee. And what was the threat? Do your job. That was the threat.
Yeah,
All
I
right?
mean, it all smells really bad. I mean, it smells really, really bad.
Well, where the hell is the DOJ? Where's Donald J? You know, this morning, Joe, I watched you this morning,
Yeah.
and you broadcasted. I don't know who the gentleman was, but he was sitting next to JD Vance, and he was stating about this. They're going after the fraud in Medicaid in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, blah blah blah, and he was saying about it's also to rebuild the trust in the government. Well, I have been complaining to 10 years to the DOJ in Washington, to anybody and anyone that would listen with all the factual information that I'm bringing to you. Thank God, I thank you, Jesus, for Joe Oltmann that gave us a chance to tell the truth. And if these people, all right, if he wants the trust back in the government, if we want to win the midterms, where is Donald John Trump, who had no problem for 14 years saying you're fired? Where is what he's got to do now? And go to the DOJ and say, go up to Middle District Court in Pennsylvania and see what the hell Michael Morris is talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more the point that I had. So it never seems to get to the very bottom of it. Well, I tell you what, go ahead.
The question is, where'd the money go? Now, I want to also throw in there so you have it. We have asked for the bank account records of the trust. We are the creditors, all the creditors. We have asked for the bankruptcy transcript records, the bank statements, everything else. We've been given.
And what have they said? Have they said no, or what are they telling you?
They did Abba Fangu. That's what they did. All right.
All right. Mike, I got to tell you, I've already said what I think needs to happen next. Obviously, you're going through the process with these attorneys that we've been talking to. We have sent over the file to the DOJ. Haven't heard back from them yet. I'm not sure the FBI is going to be the way to go, but I mean, you have enough information that you can put the story together that it should lead to a conclusion, a good conclusion. And Homesdale owes you $4.3 million. Period. That's what the deal was. It's $4.3 million. No matter
That's
what
not
happens,
happening.
you don't get to walk away from it. I mean, again, you just got to keep pressing. You got to keep.
Joe,
What?
they've already vacated the judgment and vacated the appellate court stuff.
Yeah, so this is where you get into just going to the DOJ. That's illegal. I mean, you should appeal
That's
that.
why I need our mutual friend that we've been talking to jump in, finish this up. We've been talking back and forth, and I understand her.
Do you have you saw the bankruptcy court lawyer, correct?
No, we never had a bankruptcy court lawyer. I've talked to Tim and I've talked to Sherry, and it's all the same thing. Every bankruptcy attorney has sold us out to these people. All right. Yeah. You can not up here. I need a bankruptcy court attorney, which I've been talking to one in Texas, but we're too far along in the process. There's no way to reverse it. They have been doing this for 10 years to us, using threats against my children, threats against my family, anything and everything they can, taking me into rooms with federal, marshals, the whole 9 yards. And I'm done. I don't care anymore. You want to kill me? Go for it. All right. But I'm going to expose everything.
All right. So I think that's the next step. I'll have a conversation with that attorney after this today. But Mike, I'm glad you keep fighting. I don't think you were irreverent enough with the judge. I think you should have been like, wait, what do you mean move on? What are you telling me to move on for? Steve should have said it. What are you telling me? Why are you telling me to move on? Like, I'm sitting here pro se. I don't know all your procedures. You get to talk to me with respect. That's what I would have said, right? You would have said,
here's the issue, Joe, and that's why this is a conversation with the person you're going to call after here.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes I've been in battles for 40 years. All right. You know some of my background. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about legal battles. I'm talking about, mind games. I mean, the biggest psyop that ever happened was COVID. But sometimes the way you win a war, if you remember the movie Private Ryan, they want the German tanks to come down the middle of the road between the two buildings. All right. Well, in this particular case, sometimes I have rights as a pro se litigant. All right.
Yes, and the rights are extended to a non-attorney party. You're allowed to ask stupid questions. You're allowed to do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
The judge is not to treat you like you're a slave. And you should have said, Judge, I'm not a slave, and you need to stop talking to me like I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot.
Well,
I would have been irreverent to the guy. You're going to lose anyway because they're going to make up their own rules.
Right.
So
correct.
at least get it on the record.
Two reasons I didn't do that, Joe. Two reasons I didn't do that. One is they would have sent people to my house. All right. And I don't want to get my kids involved in a firefight. All right. That's one. Number two, all right. Sometimes, like I was saying, you leave the tanks in between the buildings. You let them put the rope around their own necks. All you got to do is make sure you gather all the evidence on them and take it to another court where they don't have protection. All right. And that's what I've been trying to get through to the person you're going to talk to. There are ways to do this. All right. I've had 11 years to go to law school to understand enough about how the system works. And we've been working to turn the system back against them. All right.
Yeah. And I think you can do that. I mean, listen to me. I think you can do that, Mike, but you have to do it with a certain amount of strength, and they push you around because they know they can. Right. And you don't have to be, you can be irreverent and still be respectful and say, listen, you don't get to act that way to me. I know what the rules are related to pro se parties. And the rules are very simple. I can ask whatever questions I want, and you are to give me a little bit more grace because she wants to bring up the things that are irrelevant, but they're not irrelevant because these are actual parts of my complaint. They are parts of my argument. And my parts of my argument, you don't get to summarily dismiss because you get to wave a magic wand. That's not the way it works. And when you say that to them, then they go, well, you're about to be in contempt, and then hold me in contempt. Hold me in contempt so that I can have something that I can then do, that I can then go out and get an attorney, and I can sue the living daylights out of you. And you will actually you have violated your immunity. Therefore, I can then go after you.
Well, they've already violated their
But that's Mike, that's my point, is that everyone wants to, I say this about patriots, and I think you're a patriot for sure. I think you and Steve have been fighting this for 16 years. That takes a whole lot of courage, right? But patriots want to do patriot things until it's time to do, or wants to be a patriot until it's time to do patriot things. And what I'm saying is patriot things means sometimes you have to feel pain so that you can come back and throw the dagger at them. Right. Well, and the dagger in this case is that these people they're all talking. It's a fraternity. They're all having conversations.
Oh, absolutely.
They know you've been on shows, and they're gonna show you. He's like, move on. And you know why I said move on? Because he has no respect for you, because he thinks you're his slave. And you just got to turn it around. Look, I know what the rules are. And you got to make sure you're prepared for it. You're not intimidated by these weasels.
Joe, I swear to God, I'm not intimidated by these people at all. But here's the thing, and where I think, and I very rarely disagree with you, but I think you're wrong in this case. You know some of my background we've discussed off air. All right. I've been leading people into traps for 35 years. All right. These people, I know these people very, very well.
Yeah.
From the day they popped out of their mommies. All right. I know who and what they are. And this is all ego. This is all ego. I am highly educated at this law school, and I'm sure Cochran and Chivarella thought the same things as well before they were given 10-year sentences for what they did to children. All right.
Yeah, no, I agree
Fighting with them in that courtroom is a waste of Steve and my time. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In the Middle District in Pennsylvania, at whole, any court in Pennsylvania is a waste of taxpayer money.
Yeah.
And I've been keeping you up to date on what's going on in here in Wayne County with the judges and the district attorney and everything else. And this wonderful investigative reporter at the Pocono Review has been truly tearing them apart. I mean, case after case after case. And if the DOJ and whoever that gentleman this morning was that wants the American people to trust our government today, take this Republican county,
Yeah.
all right, come up here with 50,000 troops and DOJ and tear this place apart. And you will, I swear on my life, Donald John Trump, you will have every Republican in a wheelchair rolling to the polls to vote for Republican if you come up here and make these people an example.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think something has to happen. So something has to happen. Yeah.
This is, you would not, it is so bad. You know how bad it is, and I'm going to make a little joke here, but it shows, and including your opening monologue about how we're all believing the delusions. I said to a friend of mine the other day, I said, I know you know who Walter Cronkite is,
Yeah, I do.
but I feel like he's going to pop up on the nightly news.
Yeah.
And he's going to tell me that Gavin Newsom's select investigative committee on the Palisades fire concluded that it was MAGA lesbians scissoring that created a bushfire that burnt down the entire Palisades. And the worst part of that is...
It's actually worse. It was arsonists, but...
Yeah, I know. But the worst part of that is, from my viewpoint, is you have two old people on the other side of the TV going, Margaret, I told you what it was. I told you what it was.
No, I totally agree with you.
They all believe the propaganda. It's, it's nonsense. What they spout as truth is so far out there.
Yeah, it is. And we're kind of past it, which is why we're at that place now where we have to build density. And the density is just really simple. We're done with their bullshit, right? So
right.
I think you need to be done. That's just me giving you advice. I don't, if the lawyers step in, Mike, it's me telling you that irreverence at this point and shallow disregard for their authority.
This is done. It'll be done by the end of this month. My bankruptcy will be closed out. They've rammed it through to try to cover it up.
Yeah, well, right? I think there's a way to claw back on that. I really do.
Well, and that's what I know there is a way.
All right.
But I need the other person you got to talk to.
All right. Well, I will after this call. But hey, Mike, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you very much.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Right. God bless you.
God bless you, brother.
God bless Lynn and Patrick and everybody there. Without you guys, And I think
I
this is
still
true.
believe that there's more meat on the bone, and I believe that there's a reckoning to still happen. We just got to make sure we push it across.
Well, when we get to the next piece of this about what's going on, what the legal decisions that they made here, ramifications are, you're going to hear some things in the next audios that we're going to put together from the very beginning to the very end that Patrick and I have been talking about. That if you think this audio was
it's irreverent from them. They were very irreverent.
Oh,
I got to do 3 more things before I get off, and I only got 15 minutes to do it.
Okay, but
all right.
Love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Thanks, man. Thanks for being on. You know, as we talk through some of the ramifications of what Mike's going through and the fact that it took him 16 years, so 16 years of going through this battle, and there's a lot to it, right? And more is there a lot to it. You can't pull it apart because you could hear from the 2.5 minutes that that's how the American people are treated, no matter what. I was in a courtroom this morning. Let me tell you about this courtroom this morning. This should just give you a clue of what we're dealing with here. Just a clue. Ready for this? So there's a guy that I'm trying to help because I help people. Somebody called me and asked me to do it, and I said I would. He was charged with 3 things. He was charged with arson. He was charged with theft, and he was charged with stalking. And you say, Joe, why would you help someone that is a stalking arsonist? Okay, it's all BS. The person that said that he actually committed the arson and the theft is the same person who has a long history. By the way, the person that was a politician. He was a mayor of this town. Okay, and he has a long history of being a homosexual. And you could be a homosexual, but you shouldn't be able to should not be able to I don't know why everyone's calling me today during the show. Everyone should know that this is when I actually have the show. Where was I? What was I talking about? Help me. Jeez. Oh, yeah, he's homosexual. So anyway, so he here's a guy. Thank you for the ear. So here's a guy that's a homosexual. Everyone, I don't care if you're homosexual, but what you don't get to do is you don't get to rape someone, date rape, drug them, rape them. They wake up in the middle of it, and after a second time, they go to the police. The police take the information from them, go and file it with the DA. It sits on the DA's desk for almost 3 years. Now, in this same time, all of a sudden, he becomes an arsonist and a thief. Now, what they stole was apparently a horse saddle, and the horse saddle is a horse saddle he's had since he was a teenager. So you have he stole something that was his. Apparently he burned something down, but there's no proof that he burned anything down. He didn't burn anything down. There's no video of it. There's nothing, zero. But it's just all of a sudden it's his fault. Now, they did zero to investigate the rape. A grown man being raped by another homosexual that they have known each other, the families have known each other for 20 years, wakes up in the middle of it, paralyzed by the date rape drug. This is a real story, by the way. And the town is directly tied. And then there's a lawyer that represents them, and there's other victims. And I spent 15 minutes. I got a phone call and said, hey, Joe, this is what's happening. I was like, hey, let me see if I can help. So I dig into it, just start doing my little thing. And the attorney that's representing this person, I'm blown away at the fact that he tells this individual who then was taken into custody, he was going to get him this deal because he knew the DA. Turns out he didn't know the DA. He just made that up too. And so you got the attorney who knows all the players and parts of this deal, tells the person that is in jail, hey, I just need you to go in front of the judge while you're no bond hold on these 3 charges that are total bogus. And the reason why his mental capacity diminished over 3 years is because they were chasing him for something he didn't do. right? Had these charges against him. He didn't do it. And the stalking was for peeing on a gate. You can't make this up. I mean, yeah, trespassing maybe, but he peed on a gate. Separate person, by the way, who now is associated with the person that is. You can start to see where this doesn't make a lot of sense, right? To me, I was like, but when I got to the bottom of it and I cleared out all the chaos of how I don't care about how people have relationships. I do care about whether or not someone's getting railroaded. Now, the suggestion by the DA is for this individual to get 15 years. I reviewed the evidence. I've reviewed all the written statements. I've made phone calls to validate it. I've got affidavits in front of me. I can validate the fact that the allegation of rape after he was raped happened before any of the other stuff happened. So it's not like one led to him saying that I was raped. No, it happened beforehand. Right? This is before and after. And so, but the lawyer that was representing him said he was doing him a favor, a solid. Had him waive a jury trial in this small town. Waive a jury trial. The jury trial is the reason why you want that is because if you have a bench trial, the judge can keep out whatever information he wants. When you have a jury trial, you bring that information in, it becomes relevant, all of the different affidavits. You can control the outcome of a trial in a small town pretty easily if you have a bad judge, or even if you don't have a bad judge, there's a lot of bad outcomes to come out of it. But he told him to waive his jury trial. So I had to tell him, I was on the phone with him last week and I was like, listen, first of all, the first thing you're gonna do is slow it down. You're not getting out of jail. And by the way, a friend of mine asked me to help. I said I would. A very close friend of mine. I said I would. And so I did. Got involved, asked the questions. I literally drove down there, sat in the courtroom, listened to all of these shenanigans. And this is one of those cases. This is another case. Like this is not an anomaly. The American people are being captured by cartel terrorists. And it's because we don't have free and fair elections. And you have people like John Solomon, and obviously you have Benny Johnson who just props him up on a deal. And I get throttled on every platform because they're like, oh, we can't let Joe speak. That would be really bad. You get it now? Are you getting it? Okay. Glad you're getting it so far. Now, that'll lead me into everything else I'm about to tell you. The system is so rotted, and we've seen before that it keeps putting criminals back on the street. But we have to ask ourselves the simple question: if we have fraudulent elections and we have people like John Solomon, we have people like Steve Bannon that are standing up trying to have us chase our tail and look over here at Elon Musk. Elon Musk, by the way, probably one of the most, I mean, look, he's got more baby mamas than anybody. I mean, I think he holds the record, but he's brilliant. And not only is he brilliant, but he ethically can see the difference between evil, good, and right and wrong. And people are like, oh, no, he's bad, Joe. This is the same thing that I talk about when I just wrote. Go back and listen to the very first part of this, where I talk about the fact that this is high school. High school is forever. Because you can just say what you want. It sticks. You can create a personality. You can ruin someone's reputation. You can do anything you want. As long as you say it over and over and over again, you get people to believe it. Doesn't matter if you don't have any factual basis behind it. And if you do have factual basis behind it, you can walk past it and just gaslight them like we did with the elections, like we did with COVID, like we did with Fauci, like we did with, you see the pattern here? Like there's a big pattern here, that they get to dictate what we actually believe, and that you have to walk past genocide. You have to walk past, humanity being violated, and because it's selective, and we selectively have to support it because we can justify it. You just can't justify things. You have to be willing to think for yourself. Now, let me just take it one step further. The judges are not our biggest problem. Bukele, by the way, out of Brazil, said very, very succinctly. He's like, if you don't get rid of the judges, they were going to stand in the way, and they're going to slow things down to the point where you can't get progress and get rid of this nastiness that we have that is very global. Who's coming after President Trump? All right. That leads me to the next thing that I really want you to hear. I want you to see this. I want you to see this cut. This is Jennifer Lackard Jennifer Lackard was arrested for taking her 20-year-old son, Chase Lackard, who was a gangbanger, to go and kill his rival. I need you to know something about Jennifer Lackard. This is a revenge shooting that she set up. She knew how to get away with the crime. She knew this stuff. Now, what if I told you? And what if I told you that she's in on it? What if, I mean, you'd smile and nod. And I mean, her husband is a criminal. Her son is a gangbanger. Now, I want you to know what she is. Go ahead and play it.
Afternoon, 20-year-old Chase Lackard had his own arraignment. He walked into the courtroom flanked by officers, not saying anything other than to mouth the words not guilty when asked to enter a plea. He's been ordered held without bail. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now, prosecutors detailed their case against Lackard in this hearing that lasted about 20 minutes, identifying him as alleged shooter in the June 29th attack, of which there is surveillance video. Now, investigators say his parents drove him to the scene, helped him orchestrate this brazen daytime hit on a rival gang. He did not hit anyone, but surveillance video, they say, captured the entire shooting. Prosecutors say it shows his mother and father driving him around this courthouse, circling no fewer than 4 times before he opened fire from the back seat of their car.
Both shots are fired in the direction of a group of individuals. This appears to be gang related, as one of the individuals that was in that group is a member of a rival set. And this defendant, our investigation has revealed, is a member of a gang as well.
Now, Chase's mother, Jennifer Lackard, was arraigned in the same courthouse yesterday. The 49-year-old served as the deputy commissioner for the Mount Vernon Police Department until she was fired yesterday when news of her arrest broke. Meanwhile, her husband, James Lackard, is, according to law enforcement, on the run and possibly out of state. A manhunt is underway to bring him into custody. Now, mother, father, and son face multiple felony charges, including for attempted murder, conspiracy, and weapons charges. On the murder charge, the attempted murder charge alone, they face up to 25 years in prison. The judge said for that reason, and because he considers Chase a danger to the public, he ordered that he be held without bail. And the Bronx District Attorney's Office just now telling us that while his mother was offered a $75,000 bail, she has not posted that amount yet, so she remains in custody as well.
Unbelievable. New York.
She was the deputy commissioner of wellness for the Mount Vernon Police Department in New York. She was initially hired in July of 2020. Her title was second deputy commissioner of special initiatives. She had made $138,000 a year. Now, let me just kind of go through her competencies and responsibilities. This thug. This is strategic wellness planning, ability to build comprehensive evidence-based wellness frameworks addressing occupational stress, burnout, physical fitness, and mental health resources. Policy and program oversight, formulating administrative policies, organizing operational trends, data. She doesn't look like she could do anything related to any of that. So you have a law enforcement officer sanctioning a hit on a rival gang member, and they drove him to it to do the crime. These are people inside of our law enforcement. They have flock cameras. They can follow us around, do what they want. They have elections that they can steal to put people that are henchmen in whatever positions they want, who then assign or appoint judgeships that are able to do what they've done in Colorado. Large part, I mean, the Colorado judiciary is rotted so badly that it's not even recognizable. It's not even attorneys at every step of the way are saying the same thing, and that is, this is not a court. These are not judges. This is not even judge material. They don't even know what the law is. They just make it up. And then you have this. I'll just show you a little bit more. Here's a son of a judge overseeing gang rape cases of slain LSU student Madison Brooks as a convicted serial rapist. Let me just go through this. The son of a judge presiding over a gang rape case, Louisiana State University student Madison Brooks, before her death, is a convicted serial rapist. Trial for Desmond Clark, 21, one of the 3 men accused of raping Madison Brooks as a vehicle before her death in January 2023, is slated to go before Judge Gail Ray on August 17th. Brooks was a 19-year-old LSU student who was fatally struck by a car after a group of men allegedly raped her, then dumped her out of the vehicle on a highway. Here's Gail Ray right there. Notice something about this beautiful white girl who was raped. The judge bias and impartiality has come under fire as she represented her son, Nelson Taylor, 46, in his 1997 serial rape conviction. He recently reappeared in court to have his multiple convictions overturned. It's rot everywhere. It's rot everywhere. Everywhere. I want to point something else out. It's not just the judges, and it's not, and by the way, this is not, this isn't us. This isn't our community. It's not who we are. Like, we go to work every day. We pay more in taxes than we do spend on necessities that we have. We haven't even started talking about the cost of property taxes and what it takes for us to get health care, which is death care. I mean, we haven't even started talking about the fact that people are just putting away less and less and have more and more debt. And they can't escape it. Well, they just take more meat off the bone. Here's Amy Klobuchar discussing her border record. But we can't hold people accountable because no matter where we go, I mean, this is a senator. She got booed by the crowd in Minnesota when she claims she supported order at the border. Go ahead and play it.
Amy?
I've long believed and supported funding for order at the border, and I have worked well with law enforcement in Minnesota for years. But what
Quiet.
Wow, I ran the largest prosecutor's office in the state and was endorsed by police many, many times. So don't.
So don't. Again, you saw what they said to Mike, right? That's why I want to show you the audio of that deal where there's like, move on, treating him as if he's just nothing but a slave. Look, if you're okay with this, if you're okay with being led around and told that you're nothing and they can take whatever they want from you, then continue. But at some point, the bow's got to break. The bow has to break. They lie about everything. And no matter where we turn, it doesn't affect them. We have to embrace the new suck as people. And the more I get through this process, the more it becomes obvious that we are in a place where it's not about Democrat or Republican. President Trump is, he is a fantastically just driven individual towards creating success. He really just wants us to have success. He built the Trump accounts that are going to help kids in the future. He's like going through the process of, how do I make things better? He has 99% of the stacked bureaucracy against him. And I will tell you that attorneys and even judges are more afraid of the deep state than they are of President Trump. 2 years, he'll be gone. And unless we have a Julius Caesar moment, we get the military to come in and do things that are fundamental to restoring the way of life of the American people, we're going to continue to go down this path. President Trump is in his position because they let him be in that position. Period. I want you to check this video out from California. This is Democrats having a tough time surviving under Trump's tyranny. Go play it.
Check out this sign. It says "Fight Tyranny," and these people are very oppressed. They live in a multi-million-dollar house on the coast of California. They should probably start a GoFundMe so that they can escape the tyranny of Donald Trump and their oppression. Very much living a hard life. These California Democrats going through it, man. maybe we should help them seek asylum in a country like China.
You know, someone just put this on my Steve Rayberg just put this on my X deal. Steve, good that you put this up. It's a Q post that talks about the D Party. This is from 2018. The D Party will cease to exist once it's all exposed. Fake news can no longer control, dampen public awareness of the truth. Dark to light. I believe the dark to light has more to do with Jesus. You know, we did lose Charlie Kirk, and that created a vacuum for young people, and that's a debilitating place, in my opinion. I think we're in a different place where I think the people, the young people specifically, are looking towards some sort of north, you know, true north. And it's been replaced, that vacuum's been replaced by people that I don't think are all that great. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy environment. All right. Well, hey, look, I had a great time today with you. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I think that we still have an opportunity. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out if it's just me coming to the conclusion that, look, we're all getting tired at the same time. 85% of the people just want safe, secure elections. They want the SAVE Act passed, but you can't do that either because, you know, Congress treats you like you're a slave. We heard with how they treated Mike inside of a hearing. You can see how they treat people, judges treat people, and the lies that they create, and special masters and all the other people that they put in this little funnel of corruption and evil. But, you know, I think there's a lot of hope in all this, because I meet people every day and they're like, all right, well, I'm in. Let's go Wreck-It Ralph. And there's more and more people that are getting to the place where we just don't care about these stupid influencers. We don't care about, and you'd say, well, Joe, you're kind of an influencer. I am an influencer, but I'm not always right either. But I'm more right than I've ever been wrong. I can tell you that. I can also tell you without a doubt that I'm not a retard running around talking about stuff I don't know about. John Solomon is doing that. Like, John Solomon is actively out there pimping an idea that somebody gave him in a brief and told him, and then it was repeated by Bannon, and they just bounce it off each other. They're like a bunch of village idiots that just never can stop. You have Bongino and you have Cash. Oh, I've cut all the crime. No, it's ICE that did that. You get rid of illegals, and look what happens. Because then the judges don't get access to the illegals. Got shipped down to, you know, El Salvador. Get your ass down there, and all of a sudden, crime goes down. Crime goes down. That, and I think some people just went out and bought excavators and just started burying the bodies in their backyards. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Mom, don't cut me off. Let's see what we got over here on the comments. Jira, Joe is right again. Yeah. I am. Hang on, Debbie. What happened up here? Let's see what else we got up here. All right. Just checking all the different places that I can say hi to people. See here. Keith, it's good talking to you as well. Keith Anderson. The other Keith Anderson. See what Pilt's got going on. All right, so let's just do this. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, tune in and more. Before you leave, make sure you hit the share button. Tell them to go back to the front and listen to it. And we do have to support each other. I don't know how that all works out, but we got some pretty cool things going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. I'm pretty excited about. We've talked about this new radio cast deal that we're going to do. I think you'll be excited about it as well. Yeah, so go ahead and hit the share button, do all that stuff. Thumbs up if you're over on Rumble, if you're on some of the other platforms, or if you're on the website or the app, or you're on Roku. I have the Roku up on a TV right beside me, so I get to see that. It's good to see the numbers are actually climbing there as well, and that people want me on their TV. It's kind of weird, honestly, but I like it. All right, so let's go ahead and pray it out. Father God, thank you for everything. I mean, it's we tend to concentrate on all the negative, and we know that there's so much positive. But the negative pushes us in a place where we become victims in our own society, and we allow people to betray us and to take from us what is not theirs. We know that we are just, the burdens on our shoulders, Father, just so great. And we just ask you to give us the ability to kind of right the ship and do so in such a way that we can honor our brothers and sisters next door to us and do things that may push us to a place where even other countries will be able to adopt the attitude of no. No, I will not do this. No, you will not take any more from us. And no, we will not follow you anymore. We recognize where we are, Father, in a fallen state. We also recognize that, you know, there's only a certain amount we can control. And that, but God, but you, Father, we find ourselves in this place where we're searching for solutions. And sometimes there aren't solutions, but sometimes the solutions are there. It's just, it's a painful process to actually recover from and do unselfish and brave things in light of what we're going through as a community and as a country. So, Father, give us those tools, give us wisdom, and give us patience, and help us, Father, that we may kind of, as we work through this, never become the very thing that we're fighting against, that we may pray to you first, bring things to you, stand up, speak the truth, and then act in that truth. So, Father, we ask these things, and we are so grateful. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Well, I will see you guys later. Go ahead and do your little thing. Oh, there's a clown that was on YouTube that said what radio stations you're on. So I finally found out what radio stations I'm on. So I'll be able to share some of that for you in the Midwest. It's kind of a pretty cool list, actually. It's good to be able to go through. So we'll see you guys soon. God bless you.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew.